Be me, Chinese food delivery guy in Pennsylvania, not getting more specific. Most I'll say is I don't live close to any metropolitan area worth noting, thus a lot of my drives alone, and smelly. Can't even eat Chinese food anymore due because the smell has become so embedded in my nose/brain that I heave if I put that filth in my mouth. Like eating something to the point where you're sick of it, but someone pays you to keep eating. So you do. A few drives of mine stand out above the rest. I'll share a short one. Roll up to restaurant for next pickup of the night. 10 bags. Jesus Christ, what, busy night I guess. Lots of orders. Nope, just one. The bagging lady chimes in. Excuse me, what? One person ordered 10 bags of Chinese food, bill is massive, easily floating $500 range. Address is one I've never seen before and it's far. Kinda excited because this should be one hell of a tip. Begin driving and taking in the details in case this dude orders again in the future. Place is remote as hell, every couple of minutes some sort of key road feature becomes absent due to how far I'm going. First the sidewalks stop running alongside the roads, then the street lamps, then the lines on the road, soon I begin hitting random interim. Gravel beds. Jesus Christ, this won't be worth it if I snap my goddamn axle. Arrive at address and it's literally just a stop in the road. No driveway, no sign, not even a mailbox. Thinking GPS fucked up monumentally, call the guy to clarify the address. Gonna be mega pissed if I drove out here into Hickwoods just to get murdered. No answer. Damn, begin to dial restaurant to confirm address sent to me, but before I can finish I'm stunned. Another car, oncoming, headlights on, etc. WTF is another car doing all the way out here. It begins slowing down. Welp, guys, drive by, it is. Nice knowing you all. Car stops right next to mine and he rolls his window down. It is then I realize he is a pizza delivery driver. He speaks, is this the exact same address I was sent to? Yeah, I guess, dude. They order pizza. Yeah, huge order. He's excited, likely for the same reason as me. Big tip, in for big gay. It's then when someone comes out from the brush. Even bigger, excuse me, what? Hey, goees, food, this dude stutters. He's throwing me off big time. I don't feel like I'm going to be murdered, at least not quickly. I'd have preferred the drive-by. He's holding a flashlight but isn't pointing it at anything, just kind of off to the side. He's standing in a painfully bad posture, like visible scoliosis, the kind you can identify at a glance. Thank you for arriving first, he says as he snaps the flashlight directly at my face. Hey, cut that the fuck out, I snap in response. I don't enjoy 50 fuctillion lumens to the eyes. He snaps the light to the other driver's face. You lose, he says to him, but with absolutely no pause. But what's going on here? Other driver and I look at each other with a mix of jittery fear and perplexion. Fuck this. In hindsight this was not the best move, but I was sick of this gangly guy's attitude. I get out of the car, and start unpacking the bags. He snaps the light to a spot on the road here, please. Meth confirmed, we'll get him next time. He snaps the light back and forth to the other driver's face and the spot he wants the food. Man, what the absolute fuck is your problem? Pete Sabro shouts, hustling now. I feel you, dude, I'm not enjoying this either. I finish unpacking my shit so I go to assist Pete Sabro. Creep shines light at me, don't help, he says with no pause and with his voice raised. Alright, sorry man, I didn't leave him, but I sat in my car and waited for him to finish, not leaving fellow delivery bro. During this downtime I get as good a look as I could get at this Hmong. Tall, but shitty posture keeps his standing height at around 5 foot several inches. I imagine if he stood up straight he would have easily been 6 foot several inches, his posture was that bad. I'm rattled. Pete Sabro has begun hustling and cussing under his breath and I'm on the verge of a panic attack. I begin texting my boss, saying I'm done, I'm taking the night off after this and going home. Not up for debate. When I look up, the pizza bro is staring wide eyes, like his eyelids were completely retracted, staring in my direction. Then I notice gangly dude is standing right next to my driver's side window now. FFS, I'm done, so done. I'm holding back tears at this surprise because I didn't notice him move at all, didn't hear him, see him, nothing. Window, he says sharply. I roll it down. Yeah, that was deeply fucking mentally challenged, I know. Gangly guy slips an envelope through the window before it has even finished opening. What I'll see next I will never forget. He drops the envelope into my car and heaves/scuttles his way over to Pizza Brother's car, stopping a few feet in front of him, light in his face. This fucker was running a beanbag race with no beanbag. That's perhaps the most precise way to describe how this fuck moved across the road. A rapid undulation that propelled him forwards. I can almost hear the audible pop that marked the end of my stress tolerance, the sound before people snap and do psychotic things. That's it, I can't take this, I'm fucking out. I shift into drive, I floor it. I don't know where I am going, but if hell had an exit I was going to find it. I'm sorry Pete Sabro, I can't take this shit anymore. It's a good 15 minutes of driving. It is then I realize I didn't count the total. It is also then I realize I don't give any fucks. I set GPS for home, don't stop back at Chink restaurant, gunning it now, barely slowing down for turns. I get home, I get inside, I kill half a handle of whiskey, and go to sleep. For a while I was too nervous to go anywhere and too nervous to go on deliveries. This was not helped by the fact that a mere 3 days later, a missing person case was opened for a pizza delivery driver one town over. The search concluded that he had skid off the road and hit a tree because his car was found essentially wrapped around a tree. There were photos of the crash site from many angles. No sign of him, just the vehicle. The most fucked up thing, the bags from the food we delivered were in some of the shots and visibly torn into.
Did you talk to the police? I mean, if it's the delivery guy you met, you might want to offer any information you have.
Me again, I thought about this briefly, but I was a huge pussy. Basically, I went full bitch mode. The right thing to do would have been to give my side of the story, but again I was a terrified pussy. Doubled down on drinking and smoking to quell my anxiety because at the time I was in no shape to revisit the events of that night after seeing the crash photos. The thing is, the car appeared to be in the photos in about the same spot where the whole ordeal took place due to the bags, but that isn't a safe, solid assumption. Also, how do I explain the part where his car goes from being parked on the road to being wrapped around a tree like it had hit the thing at Mach 7? At this point, I'm simply glad I arrived first.
Got any other good stories? Late night delivery services always seem to turn into nightmare fuel.
Pretty accurate assessment. I met a lot of people when I drove for them, but I attribute that to mostly being in a junkie scattered part of Pennsylvania. Junkies could, in many situations, pass for possessed people or outright demons. But you aren't advised to stick around long enough to find out unless you like getting stabbed, chased, or shot over nonsense. This one was the opposite, very polite woman, too polite. Be driving a well-spread set of orders, lots of deliveries, all annoyingly far from each other. Middle of the spread, drive to a surprisingly well-groomed house. Mowed lawn, trimmed shrubs, edged walkways, etc. Even a pink flamingo, vaporwave intensifies. Grab bags, tread up to the door and ding dong ching chong, food is here. Woman's answers the door, she's wearing a checkered pantsuit, this is exclusively uncharacteristic for these parts. Literally only house and person like this. Good evening, she sings to me. Southern belle drawl check. Freeze like the oddest I am because this is all so out of place. Hello ma'am, good evening, your total is $XX.XX, no I don't remember the amount lel. She takes my pen to sign and fumbles it. I notice she's only using one hand and her other is hidden behind the wall. Alrighty, this is yours, hands me pen, and would you like this back? I'm sorry. Would I like what? This back. She yanks her hand from behind the door and is holding a leash. In for child or mangled animal, it was a perfectly intact chicken, on a leash. I wait for a moment, trying to give her time to further elaborate, but she doesn't. She's smiling politely, apparently fully expecting me to answer as to whether or not I want the chicken. No thanks, you can keep it, I manage to tell her. Are you sure, we're done with it? All good to go. Done with it? What were you doing to it, FFS? I will note this, looking back I was surprisingly calm during this whole exchange. Despite all the red flags, not once was I really fearful of what was happening, which is odd because I'm a little anxious bitch. I should have seen the Stepford wives shit and bailed, but I didn't. Sure, I'll take the chicken. Does it have a name? I notice the chicken isn't particularly mobile. It is very still, but it's still an intact chicken. His name is Michael, please take care of him, he is the first of his kind. Dudwataru smoking. I will take excellent care of him, thank you, and good night. She smiles quite widely and closes the door, Michael barely out of the frame. So much for taking care of him. I walk back to the car, Michael in tow, but something's off. I am by no means a farmhand, but I know what a chicken looks like when it walks. Their heads bob, they step in little bursts of movement, they scan their surroundings frequently. Michael was doing none of this, he was calmly walking with perfectly even pacing, head staring straight ahead at all times. I only noticed this because when he went down the 3 steps to the walkway it was very unnatural looking, and so I watched him as we walked to observe. He's my chicken now apparently, might as well take care of him, right? As we go to get in the car, Michael is stuck, won't flap his wings to get in the car, so I pick him up and put him in the back seat. Just my luck, I get the autistic chicken. In 4 we match. Fast forward, I'm working through my spread, trying to focus on driving since I realized I'd spent a bit too long talking to the Stepford wife. I glance back periodically to check on Michael, but not once had he moved from where I had placed him. Last stop of the night, deliver food, the guy pays, doesn't tip me because he's broke, whatever man. Get in car, check on Michael, he isn't moving. Wave of panic, I check on him and he's cold, 100% dead, also oddly frothing at the mouth. Feel sad, didn't know him for more than 1 evening, but still upsetting when critters die, also I'm a bitch so this kind of things get me. Doesn't get me to do much though, I drive up the road a bit until I'm out of sight, take him out, kinda neatly place him in nearby brush and press F. Life goes on, I don't forget him though, not because he's a special chicken, but because of the exchange that led me to him. After what's to come, I'm certain I'll never forget. Fast forward a few months, slow evening for deliveries, about to leave for the night and get a last-minute order. Kinda want to bail, but boss shows me the address and it's the Stepford wife. Never mind, I'm invested now. Want to know what was up with Michael? Again, during my first encounter, I was completely devoid of stress and anxiety. Seeing the address pop up almost felt like an invitation. Drive on out, same clean house, same flamingo, etc. Get out, walk up and dingo dong ching chong the sequel. Good evening, she sings to me again, same checkered pantsuit too. Hello again, remember me? I'm a creep, I know. She is unfazed, accepts food, signs with one hand again. Oh no, not again. Alrighty, this is yours, hands me pen, the remix, and would you like this back? I hesitate for some time, I likely already know what she's referring to, but I can't begin to understand this ritual happening between us. Sure, I'll take it, the chicken, right? Of course. That's what you brought me last time. She sings. Excuse me. I glance briefly at the order, She ordered chicken this time as well. I hesitate for some time once again, but this doesn't faze her. She doesn't ask me about my autism, just politely waits for me to accept the chicken. Sure. I'll take it. Alrighty, here you go. She pulls the leash around and will it, it's a fucking chicken. Thanks, bye. She closes the door, once again almost hitting the chicken. Didn't ask for the name, anticipated it dying soon anyway, this is not what would happen. And I didn't ask about Michael even though I thoroughly intended to, I can't explain it, I simply didn't. It had been my foremost thought on my mind for the drive up until it simply wasn't. Get into the car, total silence as I try to process the information, but something felt wrong. It was as if my brain treated the obvious final conclusion as a taboo. Trying to believe what I had heard resulted in a fuzzy head high that disoriented me until I found myself posing the question again from the beginning. I drive off, I make it about 50 feet before two things happen. 1. The conclusion finally became thinkable, I could think about it without my mind becoming a sad dish during a heavy rain. 2. I am hit with perhaps the worst anxiety of my life. This wasn't a panic attack, just a wave of fear and chills. If you have ever browsed creepy pictures and found something unexpectedly disturbing and gotten chills, imagine that, but experiencing it for a solid 10 seconds straight. Needless to say, I found myself slamming the brakes to cope so I wouldn't actually die. I sat quietly for a while and decided to let Michael 2.0 out of my car because I didn't want anything to do with that address anymore. I placed him by the roadside and he stood totally still, unmoving, which now felt incredibly vulgar to watch. Seeing this animal behave so atypically brought the chills back, and so I rushed to the car and left him. I didn't look back. Call boss, going home, he doesn't care because it's the last delivery anyway. She would order twice in the future, but I refused to go there again so the other driver would go instead. I asked him about his experience after his first trip and he said it was fine. I never asked him about his second trip because afterward he called in sick for 5 days straight and was ultimately fired for this behavior.